just out by a beautiful pool outside where it was gorgeous. Now you're inside in this place that we've never seen before. It's echoey, we can't hear you very well, we can't see you very well. What? Okay, well, let me tell you. First, oh, hold on. Okay, here's the deal. There's a bird outside.
Gosh, why is that bird so loud?
A bird that I can't find and I can't get rid of.
I think it's only worse down here. Where even is this bird?
Since I can neither find nor get rid of the bird, I had to come inside. Bird, you're killing me here.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to go inside. Look how pretty it is out here.
No, this is not my house. This is actually my parents' house. But needless to say, it is a lot quieter in here, although I'm sorry, I know it's echoey. They don't have nothing to trap the sound, so the sound is just bouncing everywhere, which is super less than ideal. I'm sorry. I wish you could see though the setup that I have right now. It's actually perfect for this video. Hold on, I'm gonna show you with my phone video. Okay, this is the current situation. Camera, puzzles on a rolly table, which actually works out quite well because I can just move it forward and backwards as I need fit, and I can pull puzzles out and lower the camera. So that's why I'm not outside, that's why I'm not by the pool. But the reason that the thumbnail shows me by the pool is because, number one, I like the idea of water and cleansing yourself, and there's some things that I want to come clean about. Number two, I also liked the idea of diving. Today is diving into something new for me. What I had wanted to do, what I had thought about doing, what I had planned on doing was to make a really polished, quick, tight, lots of cuts, good music video that has to do with parenthood and some of the very vulnerable struggles that I have had. What ended up happening though was I was starting to get way too perfectionistic about it. This is a tendency of mine. When I start a new project of any type, whether it be cooking, photography, videos, having kids, I like to try to do it perfectly. Even though I know there's no perfect, I want the very first time that I put that meal on the table, or that I take that picture, or that I make that video, for it to be perfect. When in actuality, it's going to take 30, 100, 1,000 times before I actually feel like I like the thing. So I thought, instead of making that snappy, really easy, quick polished video, I would instead take you through the process of what it's going to take for me to actually get to that video. This was not my idea. I actually talked with my counselor about this a couple of weeks ago, and I was telling her that I was hitting this wall of perfectionism, and I know when I'm hitting it because my brain starts thinking things like, to make this video, you need a pink typewriter. It has to be old, it has to be from 1958, it has to be this color pink. I start doing things like this. That's when I know that I'm hitting a wall of perfectionism and I need to find a way around it, or to just embrace it and push through it. So what she suggested was that I take you with me on this journey of going from talking about decorating a dining room to talking about some very, very vulnerable issues. Issues around mental health, issues around the darker sides of motherhood and parenthood. I know this all sounds like a bit of a downer, but I really have a lighthearted, hopefully encouraging way to talk about it with you. But I don't want you to think that this is something easy for me to do. This has taken a lot of work. I have had a lot of falls and a lot of stumbles. Actually, when I was talking about this with my counselor, I made the following analogy. For Christmas, Chris gave me, amongst other things, a wok. I've never owned a wok before. I have never cooked with a wok before. I know nothing about woks. But I wanted the very first meal that I made in this thing to be amazing. I wanted it to have shrimp and beef and flavors and fresh garlic. Honestly, I don't even know all the words of what you put in, but I wanted it to be just outstanding. And I knew I couldn't do that, so I didn't use it. It just sat in the bottom cabinet of my kitchen for months and months and months, until finally last month I took it out and I started using it. I just became okay with the fact that the first thing I made was probably gonna be burnt or overcooked or undercooked, or I had to get through that first one in order to be able to get to the one that was actually gonna taste good and that I would be proud to serve people. And I was telling my counselor how You have to crawl before you can walk. And she started laughing. And with my slow mom brain, it took me a little while, but then I got it. You have to crawl before you can walk. Get it? Walk? I thought it was hysterical. But it's true. I read these books sometimes by authors that I absolutely adore, Brené Brown and Glennon Doyle Melton, and I think, this is amazing, this is fantastic, this is great stuff. And their story about the dark side and all of their struggles is so real, and I resonate with it, and there's this connection. But then I sometimes think, but how did they get to the point where they could write a book about this? How did they get to the point where they could talk about this just like it was nothing? It doesn't come easily and naturally for me to talk about this. It's something that I'm gonna have to practice. It's something I'm gonna have to get better at. Something that I hope you will indulge me in as we go through this process together and figuring out how to talk about these things. I don't want you to see a polished, snappy video where it looks like, oh my gosh, Sarah is always operating in this space. She knows how to be vulnerable. She knows how to talk about these things. She's got it figured out. I do not have it all figured out. I have a lot of things figured out, but it has come through some very, very hard-won work. For example, I read a lot of self-help books. For some reason, they've always interested me ever since I was young. I journal. I've journaled since I was young. I have journal upon journal upon journal upon journal, just like this. I go to counseling. I go to counseling like it's my day job. I don't know why or how, but for some reason, it works for me and I need it. I go every single week. If I don't go, I feel off, I feel weird. And it's not something that the counselor is doing the work for me. It's that I need to talk it out. I need to hear myself say these things and work through them in order to be able to be a healthier human being. Also, this helps. We're gonna talk about that too. We're gonna talk about all kinds of things. Let's see. I actually started learning how to do hand lettering. Trying this book, don't necessarily buy it right now. I'm not necessarily recommending it because I've only done 2 lessons. My handwriting is amazing and I'm really good at spacing letters. I'm terrible at drawing. Like I can't even draw a turtle, but I'm really good with letters. But, am I saying but a lot? I feel like I'm saying but a lot. This was the very first assignment and this is mine. I kind of messed up over here. It kind of goes down and well, it's not great. It's not spaced right. But then I moved on to the second lesson. Hello, sunshine. Hello, sunshine. You probably can't even see the mistake that I made. There's a mistake with the horizon, but the spacing of the letters looks great. It looks a lot better. I get better and better and better each time. And I don't want you to miss that. I don't want you to miss seeing how I go from not talking about this stuff at all to talking about it in front of big audiences, to writing about it in books, to uploading it to YouTube. What are these big issues you keep talking about, Sarah? Well, here we go. Let's see. Let's write a few out. I haven't used these. I don't think that one. Oh, that'll work. So we're gonna talk about mental health. That includes, for me, depression and anxiety. This also includes, for me, meds and counseling. Again, this here, all of this is my story, and I'm telling you this story in hopes that some part of it resonates with you, in hopes that some part of it you can connect with, and some part of it helps normalize some of the stigmas around all of these topics. I have felt like a weirdo for a very, very long time. I felt like that I am the only one that struggles with some of these things because still there is a stigma around all of these. Also around, I can't even write the word, nope, that's spelled wrong. Disliking parenthood. There are days, there are weeks. And I thought I was doing something wrong. I thought that I was a terrible mom because I didn't and don't love all the parts of parenthood all of the time. Marriage struggles. When you have twins as your first children, there is no way that you are not going to struggle in your marriage. It may not even be your marriage. It may be your friendships. It may be your siblings. It may be your parents. It may be any relationships you have are going to change when you become a parent. And navigating those is something that did not come easily to me. In fact, there's a lot of things about parenting that just aren't talked about. When you are pregnant, you are in the spotlight. Everybody wants to know how you're feeling and when you're due and if the baby's kick, what the nursery looks like. But as soon as that kid comes out, it is all about the kid. And people stopped asking me how I was doing or how motherhood had changed me or what I was going through. It was, how's the baby sleeping? How's the baby eating? How's the baby feeling? What's the baby weigh? Which is normal, and that's fine, and I point no fingers and give no blame. It's just the way that it is. But I didn't have any place to talk about what I was going through. And I thought I was supposed to just keep it to myself and just move forward, and that this was just part of it. And I spent a lot of time crying in the closet, and I spent a lot of time feeling angry and confused and frustrated. And I wish that then I had had this to look at. I wish then I had had someone to tell me that these things were normal, or that once they crossed this point, maybe it wasn't normal. Maybe I needed to seek professional help, or maybe I needed to take some medication or talk to somebody or make some changes or lower my expectations or redefine what it meant to be a good parent. These are the things I want to walk through with you. Very slowly, not just like a flood of information or a flood of like stuff, but just to start to have the conversation. If this is something you're interested in, if you want to see me kind of stumble through this until I get to a place where it's a little bit more polished, you could subscribe, I think below. I don't know if you're on an Android or an iPhone or an Apple TV stick, Roku. But I'm pretty sure no matter what you're on, you can subscribe. Subscribe to the channel if you want to know more about all of this stuff. If you like this idea at all, you can hit the like button. If you don't, then I will have some more dining room updates. If you're not interested in any of this, but maybe you know someone who is, I hope that you will pass it on. And that maybe if you find yourself struggling and needing this, to know that it will always be here, and so will I. So thank you so much for indulging me in this, what would I call it? Experiment, maybe we'll call it, in this process of talking through these bigger things. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful day.
You know what I'm saying? It's all good, baby. It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Salt and Pepper and Heavy D up in the limousine. Hanging pictures on my wall. Every Saturday, rap attack Mr. Magic Molly Mall. I let my tape rock till my tape pop. Smoking weed and bamboo, sipping on private stock. Way back when I had the red and black lumberjack with the hat to match. Remember rapping Duke? The hard, you never thought that hip hop would take it this far. Now I'm in the limelight cause I rhyme tight. Time to get paid, blow up like the world trade. Born sinner, the opposite of a winner. Remember when I used to eat sardines for dinner? Peace to Ron G, Brucey B, Kid Capri, Funk Master Flex, Love Bug, Star Ski. I'm blowing up like you thought I would. Call a crib, same number, same hood. It's all good. And if you don't know, now you know.
How's your day, Dad?
A little bit more something.